Hi, good evening, everyone. I am Shubhangi and I am part of the An Academy Branding and Communications team. I welcome you all today to this Kaleidoscope Masterclass. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking out the time to join us in this session today. Um, some of you know a little bit about AND because you are our learners, and some of you are also joining us who are not our learners. So I would like to take a moment and talk about AND a little bit. And Academy is actually the brainchild of Dr. Jitin Chadda, who's also the founder and CEO of Indian Institute of Art and Design. So, and Academy actually comes from that pedigree of imparting design education for over a decade now, and is an online design school. Um, so everything that you can imagine in a design school and offers those things, but in an online mode. We offer uh, professional short courses in three domains, which is graphic design, interior design, and UI UX design. Most of our courses are part-time, and we have one full-time course in graphic design. And since these are short courses, they start from the very fundamentals of basics of design, and they start from 5 months and then go up till 14 months. These courses are also stackable, so you sort of start from, say, a certificate, and then if you really enjoy your learning experience, you can go on to do a diploma or even further yourself to a PG diploma. um, and that is all about and our motto here at and is to make design education accessible, affordable, and industry relevant. And how do we do that? We have, as I spoke about it, our design pedigree actually comes from IIAD. All of our curriculum are designed by people who are actually practicing in the industry and are practicing designers and part of the design industry. So they're not just academicians, they're also people who are actively working in the industry and contributing to the industry. All of our classes also happen in a live and interactive manner. This session is more of a webinar session where um, Aarushi will address an audience and then she will present her topic and she'll speak about it. And then you sort of are in a listener mode and you're absorbing. Our classes do not happen in those format. It's a very live, interactive format. Everything that you can imagine in a design studio or in a design classroom happens all online, and we sort of rely on a lot of technological platforms like Miro and Figma Jam and other sort of MS Teams to sort of build that experience of a design classroom. Not only are our curriculum designed by people who are working in the industry, these courses are also delivered by these same people who are actually practicing in the industry. So you get very relevant knowledge, very you get to know about cutting trends and all of those things. Um, at and we also focus on learning design versus just learning software. Not to say that we do not teach you software, we definitely teach you software, but what is it that you can do with those software? What is it that you will design on that software? How to think like a designer? That's what we really, really emphasize on. Um, as I've spoken about the curriculum, all of our curriculum modules have projects inbuilt in them. So as you progress, you also sort of work on multiple projects, which sort of borrow briefs from real world problems. So something that you will get in an agency setup or in a design studio setup, those sort of challenges are also simulated and created as projects. And in those projects, you get feedback from your mentors, from your peers, and then you get this really wholesome and holistic learning environment. These projects that you do throughout your curriculum also culminate into a market ready portfolio. So as soon as you graduate, you can hit the ground running, you can apply for different roles and different uh, you can even start your own thing. So as you please, to do with your portfolio, you can sort of use it in your own manner. Um, we also have so much faith in the curriculum that we offer job guarantee on select courses. So we have a job guarantee on all of our PG diplomas, which is a graphic design part-time PG diploma, graphic design full-time PG diploma, um, and a PG diploma in UI UX design, and also a job guarantee on graphic design diploma. So these courses, we guarantee you placement. There's some caveat. For example, you will also have to do your part, which is come to class, submit your work, listen to what the mentors are saying, etc. But yeah, we do offer, if you perform well, we do offer a job guarantee on many of our courses. Um, so And was actually founded in 2022, and we are a community of 1,200 plus learners now, and we have transformed some 500 plus careers. We have 50 plus mentor body, and 200 plus hiring partners, and we're rated 4.6 on Google. So if you really want to check out some of our learners' experiences, you can just go on Google and check it out. Um, with that, I would like to move on to today's agenda, which is this session, this Kaleidoscope session. So Kaleidoscope is a property where we sort of do multiple master classes, and each masterclass we invite a design maestro for them to sort of offer their myriad perspectives on design. And today we're joined by Aarushi Bafna. So Aarushi is an architect, an entrepreneur, and a mentor based in Mumbai. Originally from Jaipur, Aarushi discovered her love for design at Balwant Seth School of Architecture. She draws creative inspiration from global architects like Zaha Hadid and Rem Koolhaas. She's the founder of Studio Aarushi Bafna and co-founder of Studio Adri, where she's led 100 plus projects for brands like Godrej, Tira, and Western Resorts. She's even designed the Nirja Modi School campus in Jaipur. Arushi also runs a popular masterclass, Business of Design, where she shares everything architecture school didn't. Over 500 students have already learned from her real world insights into the design industry. With that, I will sort of hand it over to Arushi to take over and just address the audience.
Hi, thank you so much for this lovely introduction. Hi, guys, lovely to see you all on a Monday evening. I will dive right into the presentation, and before I do that, I will also talk a little bit about myself, but let's just share that along with some visuals. Okay, before I tell you about myself, let me begin with the words beyond the design blueprint, which just means that a design school is much beyond a design school. And she rightly said that you don't just learn how to design in a design course, but you also learn sort of how to navigate and start the correct mindset to working functionally when you just get out of the school. Okay, design school opens more doors than just a normal design firm. The real question that you need to ask yourself is what can I do with the degree, but also like what I can't do with this mindset. What a design school usually entails and why I always tell my students to first just do like a diploma degree in design, because it makes your mind work in a certain way, which is very different from a management school. It helps you solve big real world problems and not just solve, see big real world problems into a very minuscule form. Designing experiences, how people move, feel, and interact in a space is also a very large part, especially in interior design and architecture. It also tends to make you a little more creative and logical at the same time. Okay, it definitely teaches you how to team up and bring ideas to life together. And I think that is one skill that sort of also helps you practically in numerous ways, because when we work on a practical field or a site, we have to bring together different teams, different people from different walks of life, and sort of teach them how to function with each other. Okay, Think of it like being part artist, part scientist, and part storyteller, all rolled into one. That's what a design school or a design course would be for. Moving ahead, but before we dive any further, let me tell you things about myself. So my journey started from Balwanshi School of Architecture, Mumbai. I actually did architecture, not interior design. From there, I went to intern at Creative Group Delhi. From there, I worked with Rusha Shroff Bombay for almost 2 years, and then that's when I started my studio Aarushi Bafna. Studio Aarushi Bafna's inception was back in 2016. From 2016 till 2022, Studio Aarushi Bafna was fully functioning in Jaipur. I got married, moved to Bombay. Then in Bombay, we started Studio Adri in partnership. So now we have two firms lined up, one sitting in Jaipur doing big architecture and interior projects, and Studio Adri that specializes into retail display and window displays, pop-ups, small activations, brand experiences, exhibitions, installations, and so much more. Now, why sharing this journey was important was just to show you all the facets that are sort of available once you go through any design course in your life. Okay. So, me being an architect, a person would only visualize me to build buildings. But what I actually do now is the smallest detail in a retail store. And I function in that capacity to the larger capacity of building buildings at the same time. Apart from my education, I have had multiple client associations, like she already mentioned. I've worked with Tira, Reliance, Tumi, Aneka, Agiolux, Rahul Mishra, Abujani, Sandeep Gosla. I'm sure a lot of these names you've already heard. I have also been part of most of the major press communications, starting from AD, El Decor, India Design Week, Godar Design Lab, uh, even local newspapers, starting from Dainik Bhaskar, Patrika, blah, 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 blah. But these are just one feather in the cap, so as to say. When I began, although I came from a fairly middle class family, not a very rich background, and also not from a design background. So it's not like I have inherited my design studio from any of my parents, grandparents, any family member. I have actually built from scratch, and that's why today, whatever I say is from great experience and learning that I've learned in past 10, 12 years. I would like 100% attention of y'all. Please take notes. There are 5 steps and 5 activities that I'm going to introduce you all to, which would help you decipher uh, all the confusion and sort of break through into a design career, if I put it that way. Anyways, this was me in 2016. What in just less than a year, I actually represented myself in India Design Week. So that's me in 2017. El Decor's team had come to my house and to the workshop where we were making the furniture to record. And yeah, it was a surreal experience at that point in time. I was much younger then. Uh, Before I move deep into how to achieve what I achieved, or how to sort of start your design career, or how to break the myths and the confusions of what lies ahead of design school, let me just tell you why you need to learn interior design to begin with. Why you need to learn is because it's a ultimate hybrid of discipline which just meets and sits at the crossroad of art, science, and technology. When I put it that way, I am sort of encompassing everything that I just spoke for last 10 minutes, which is basically once you learn one particular field of design, you can actually work at any scale in any field of design. Okay, so it just opens a lot more avenues for you after doing a design course than not doing it and just jumping into one work or the other at current situation. Okay, it also builds a superpower, which is a special thinking power, which also means that, you know, the idea of visualization, manifestation, and when people say, you know, we've gotten our dreams, gotten our goals achieved, it actually helps you visualize because you could actually, after doing an interior design and architecture course, you can actually think specially in terms of space and where you are, and you can actually assume and manifest yourself. Yeah. There are very, very few careers that train your brain to think in space and time, form and light and emotion in the same way as architecture and interior design does. Okay. Now, after doing interior or architecture, there are many, many ancillary fields that you could actually dive into. First off, don't box yourself in. Just doing interior design does not mean you have to practice interior design. Just doing interior design does not mean you only have to practice uh, room decorations or interior styling. There are just so many fields that you can sort of go to, starting with installations in public art. That's what we are doing at Studio Adri currently. Uh, Moving on to spatial design exhibition. So, if you are a techie and you want to be closer to design and technology, this is your way to go. You could also do a lot to do with interactive art, which is happening globally and is going to come to India in a very large scale in a couple of years. You could do massive facade designs, of course, architecture for retail construction, that is mandatory. You could also do robotics in architecture, which just means making a smaller portion of material using robotics or technology and sort of selling that for bigger architecture or design projects. Okay. You could also open just a material research lab for sustainability at with the current speed that we are degrading our environment. I think that is also a very, very fun upcoming field that would pick up in a couple of years from now. Whether it's inside a tower, a 5-day retail pop-up, or a sneaker drop detail, brings the same creativity and spatial intelligence that turns into reality. Okay. But to do any of this, uh, to move forward from where you are to where you want to be, there are 5 steps you need to use for clarity in chaos post graduation. Now, what happens if you've done a graduation, if you're planning to do a graduation, or um, if you're part of a design course right now, I'm sure you must be at this retrospect position where you're thinking to yourself, is it even worth my time? Or what do I do after this? Do I just need to get a job? If I do need to get a job, how will it help me in making more money in future? There are 5 steps that will sort of help you to clarify what you want to do, also help you how to do that. Okay, but before I dive deep into 5 step, just because I'm not very wary of the people on this panel, just give me a hand raise or just say yes if you're already studying design. I just want to see how many people today are already studying design and how many people are sort of planning to learn design or are the cusp of starting their design career journey at this point. So just give me a high five if you're studying design in a college at this point, or just say yes in the chat box. Okay, lovely. I see couple of yeses here. For everyone who's already in a design college at this point, of course, you know what I'm talking about till now. But you are at this point in life where you are wondering if you want to do a job, if you want to start your own, if you want to blah, 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 blah. I understand the confusion here. Okay. If you are not in a design college and if you're wondering if you should join a design college, again, this is the cue for you. I just told you why I love and preach design and why you should join one. Okay. And now, here from here on, especially people who are already in a design college, please start making notes so as to what you must do at least during the last phase of your college. I'm not sure if your courses are 1 year, 3 months, 3 years, because my course was 5 years. But whatever duration of your course is, you start to follow these steps right at the end of your course, if that is making sense. Okay. Now I know everyone has some dream or the other. If you do not, just take your time and think of one or two dreams that you want to achieve. Not right now, just like when you actually start to follow these steps on your own. Just first step is to write a dream that you have. Okay, it could literally be anything. It could be as simple as I want to eventually buy a home next to the sea of so and so CR or so and so square footage. I want to run a company which has 10 employees under me, whatever it is. Okay, you just write your dream on a piece of paper. Okay, now I will show you how actually people achieve and turn these dreams into goals. Okay, why I say that is because there's a lot of faff about manifestation and dreams and these material manifestation boards and stuff like that online. Every designer that you sort of follow or look up to would one time or the other say, oh, I'm manifesting this. But they're actually not manifesting it. They are actually sort of just converting their dreams into measurable goals, and that's how they achieve those goals. Okay, what is the difference between a dream or a goal? A dream is a far-fetched idea with no timeline. Okay, it's a wish. It's not quantified. Whereas a goal is a time-based decision. It's a short plan. It is quantified and backed up with a lot of research. So your step one is to write a smart goal and not just a dream. Okay, go to the step one, you first need to, of course, have a dream. So if you do not have one at the moment because you're in college, give it some time. By the end of reaching your last year of college, I'm sure you will get some idea or the other so as to where you look up to yourself in 5 years down the line. And then you start writing that dream on a paper. And now, step one is to convert that vague dream into a very, very smart goal. Okay. For example, your dream could be I would like to own a nice home, I want to sell a designer line, so on and so forth. But a goal, on the other hand, would be I will own 4,000 square feet home near the ocean of noon April 2030. Or I will sell 500 pieces of designer line clothes by December 2030. Okay. How do we write a smart goal? What is a smart goal? SMART. You have to be very, very specific. You have to be, it has to be very, very measurable. It has to be very, very actionable. It has to be very, very relevant, and it has to be time bound. Okay, so first thing that you need to do before you leave college or after you want to leave college is write your smart goal. Even if you your goal says that okay, 10 years down the line I want to run a studio like this particular designer, you know who you need to apply under as an intern or as a junior designer at that point in time. So it will sort of guide your decision into the right direction from right in the beginning of time if you do the step one of writing a SMART goal. Be specific, make it very measurable, make it very actionable, relevant, and time bound. When I say specific, say, okay, you know what? I will tell myself that this is what or where I will be at this particular point in time. Measurable means put some numbers. If you want to own a house or run a studio, or if you want to work and get a salary of 2 lakhs, 10 lakhs, XYZ, put some numbers to your goal. Make it actionable in the sense that okay, if I had to be part of Godrej Design Lab, where does Godrej Design Lab happen? It happens in India Design Week. How do I apply there? I have to sort of go to Godrej and find a person who is responsible for decision making process in Godrej Design Lab, and that's how my chain of reaction would go. Okay, so be very specific, make it measurable, uh, make it actionable to a point where you can take a action right away, and make it very relevant. Okay, sitting here, even if you're dreaming to do something in US, take steps forward and say, okay, you know what, I've done this course, I want to work in Norman Foster in Europe or London. To go there, go and see Norman Foster, what kind of people do they hire, see what kind of education do they have, and go back and fulfill those steps so you can actually be leading path to your dream or a goal. Similarly, if you have to start your own design studio, this one is very, very important because you have to have measurable, smart goals for yourself to even start a design studio or to get clients. Okay. And that's exactly what all senior designers do. And that's exactly what I have also done couple of times now. How do you make a smart goal? You make a smart goal by quantifying and quantifying. How do I quantify stuff? By making mind maps. Okay. So, step two is to sort of make mind maps of your smart goal. So, for example, when we started R3 in 2023, okay, we had a goal of earning 20 lakhs in 1 year. So we wrote 20 lakhs. Now we broke down the 20 lakhs. Okay, if one client gives us five, one client gives us six, blah, 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 blah. And now we need to sort of go find these clients. Because R3 does a lot of retail space, we walked into almost 100 malls asking for work. And literally two clients gave us work, out of which one was Reliance, who gave us a 35 lakh billing in the first go. So we not just crossed our 20 lakh mark, we actually almost doubled in that 1 year in less than 6 months. We could only do it because we knew what we wanted. We had a smart goal in place and we did make a mind map to do so. Now, if you all are here and interested in growing, just take a screenshot of this because this is sort of going to help you mind map your mind once you are graduating. If that just made sense, take a screenshot. I'll give you a second here. Lovely. Moving ahead. Step two is defining your bigger purpose in life. Okay, now I'll tell you where people get lost. People get lost because they do design thinking it's just a career option, or they become interior designers thinking it's the easy way to go, or I just feel creative and I can design my homes. But to run a successful design studio or to be a successful interior designer, what is important is the passion behind the work that you're doing, because doing design is literally not just about design. You have 500 things that you're managing at the same time. You have 10, 15, 20 group of people who are fighting amongst each other, a client who is eating your head, uh, creating a massacre for you. Okay. And the only way you can solve is if you're willing to solve it, and your willingness in long run will only come if you're backed by a bigger purpose in life and not just the purpose of making money, because then there'll be a point where you'll be saturated and you'll be like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, this is taking a toll on me. So, what I would like you all to do in the last year of your college, you define your bigger purpose in life. Now, this is a psychologically proven activity. I didn't make this activity up. I actually read about it in a book and I tried for myself, and I've been doing it every 2 years for myself. Okay. So, when I say it works, it works. Again, take a screenshot, go home and do it, and see the result for yourself. How do you find your right life purpose? Question number one, list two unique qualities or personal qualities that you have. For example, are you confident? Are you creative? Do you have a lot of empathy? Are you technically strong? Is your math strong? So, write two qualities that you have. Okay. Question number two, list one or two ways you enjoy expressing those qualities. For example, do you enjoy to inspire? Do you enjoy to create? Do you enjoy to support? Do you enjoy to grow? How would you like to enjoy those two qualities that you have? Now, when I say these things, the right way to go about finding your life purpose is just shut your eyes, meditate for 5 minutes, and then start answering these questions, because then the true answers will sort of come out. Okay. And question number three, assuming your world is perfect right now, how does it look? How is everybody living, interacting, and so on and so forth? Now, what happens, for example, why I started teaching on the weekends is because uh, usually something that bothers me around me is people, if they do not have jobs. I've come across contractors. I've also come across interns who come from like a very, very low background, and they're very unhappy in life because they don't have enough money. So I just wanted to help those kind of people to sort of grow and be able to earn money. And that's how Business of Design course came about. So when I was writing my life purpose, the only purpose that I thought would be great, assuming the world is perfect right now, was that I would like to see everyone get enough money so they can feed themselves and their families. Okay, everyone is happily earning and living a decent life is what my purpose or goal would be uh, years down the line. And then what you need to do is write the answers of all the three together in one statement. So my purpose is to use my confidence and my creativity to inspire and support everyone to live and earn happily. And that's how Business of Design came about. I want you all to do the same exercise. It'll sort of help you get a clear path to your future career. Okay, so this is step two. Step one was making a mind map. Step two is doing a life purpose exercise. Step three is selecting a niche. Now, like I said, in terms of design, in terms of being a designer, there's just so many things that you can do. You are not specified to be only an interior designer, or you're not specific to be only an architect. You can do multiple things at the same time. So third most important step as soon as you graduate is, how do you select a niche? How do you know what is best for me? uh, why? But before I dive into how, let's answer why. Why? Because being a very big fish in a very small pond is much easier than being a small fish in a very big pond. Okay. um, if people start There was a point when people start telling in Jaipur that I was one of the best retail designers in Jaipur, so I started getting flooded with commercial projects at that point. But if it I was fighting the same race as other interior designers or architects in the city, I would be pitching like 20 other designers for the same project and be in the line of getting those projects. Versus what happened was I became the bigger fish in a very small pond of retail design. So, uh, sectionally, what happened, let me just tell you my story in here. When I went back to Jaipur, I'd already worked with Rushad and done couple of retail projects. So I went back, and my parents, of course, wanted to tell everyone that, okay, my daughter's an architect and blah 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 blah. So I told them, you know what, don't tell them that. If anybody asks, or even if you want to tell them, okay, she's an architect and she has extensive experience in retail design from her previous job in Bombay. Now, this spread like a wildfire. The minute they started saying these to other people, the other people started saying that, okay, you know what, she's come from Bombay and she's a great retail designer. And so on and so forth, by the virtue of the idea of gossiping in the city. My name spread in a way that I am one of the best retail designers in the city. I wasn't even 26-year-old. And people started talking nice things about me, even without realizing that all of this was just a faff of me being a very big fish in a very small pond. And that's how I got my biggest project, Uh, Western Resorts and Spa. They came up to me and said, you know what, we've heard you're one of the best commercial designers in the city. Would you like to do this for us? We are coming up with a new resort. So it wasn't me running behind projects, it was the other way around, because I figured out that finding a niche is one of the most important things in the chain of reaction of being a designer. How did I figure that out? Now, when you go back and see Instagram, open any of the senior designers, everyone, every famous designer have their niche. Of course, they do other projects, whichever come by, but they always say they have a niche. For example, my boss Rushad, uh, his niche is craft. Okay, art and craft is what he pursues. And that's how people know. So everybody who is interested in art and craft sort of goes to him for their projects. If you open a Sarah Sham, you'll realize that her niche is residential to a certain extent, because that's what she sort of like displays. Even back in time, if you see a BB Doshi or a Corbusier, everybody had a niche. So this is why selecting a niche is very important as step 3 when you start your design career. Now, how do we select a niche? Your niche is basically culmination of three things. One, your passion. How do you find your passion? Not just by telling yourself, okay, I'm great at art, that's my passion. Uh, Again, this is a scientifically proven activity. Take a screenshot, shut your eyes for a minute. The first thing that comes to your mind is your passion. For example, when I shut my eyes, I love seeing kids, and usually kids come to my mind, and that's how I started doing schools at some point. So just shut your eyes for a minute, and then whatever the first thing that comes to your mind would be your passion. Number two, life purpose. We've already done a life purpose exercise. You can just retrofit it here. And number three, what you love and hate. Why I don't do residential is because I used to hate going around town shopping with 10 different family members for one singular project. It takes a lot of time and effort, and I just don't want to do it. Uh, Putting all these things together, I found my niche to be commercial institutes, and then I started spreading my wings to commercial retail, commercial hospitality, blah, 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 blah. But that's how I had found my niche to begin with. Take a screenshot, do this activity. This is your activity point number 3 that you need to do. And this is the activity for that point. Okay. Step 4 is creating a great vision. Now, what does vision mean? As soon as you graduate from college, you will be very, very confused. So, as to now, what do I do? You will start running behind projects per projects. You'll be like, chalo, bathroom mil raha hai, kar lete hain. Kamra mil raha hai, kar lete hain. Any smaller project, you'll be like, okay, you know what? Why do I care? Let me just take it up. Someone has come to me. Why do I say no to work? And that's where the problem persists, because what we all think that being an interior designer is only about being an interior designer, but it's not. It's actually about having a mindset to run a design business, and creating a vision helps in that. Of course, this step will only come into play once you have been through a job, been through an internship, you know where you are at in life, and you have more concrete goals. But in a longer run, from my experience, being a designer, you need to have a clear vision, because everything after college is little hazy. There are too many fields, too many things coming. And these are the four answers that you need to answer for yourself to create a perfect vision for yourself right after college. Number one, purpose. Why does your studio exist? Now, this is the point where you're freelancing or you're running a studio. You just need to tell yourself, why do I exist to begin with? What is your vision for 1 year, 5 year, and 10 years? What do I mean by vision? I mean, 10 years down the line, you want to open a studio with 25 people under you. That's your vision for 10 years down the line. Okay. So write your vision into numbers, write your mission. What does the mission mean? Mission means, if you see yourself, for example, a movie actor would say, I would see myself winning an Oscar or winning a film fair. What is your ultimate mission in life? Okay. Where do you see yourself 5 years, 10 years down the line, in terms of your achievements, in terms of your give to the society, in terms of other things which are not sort of monetary? And your two values. Always remember, value system actually helps you grow much more than when you don't have a value system. For example, again, if you pick up any of the senior designers, my value system was not to take commission, which I had said on day one, and to try and finish the projects in time. And I had things backing them up to prove my point. But forget me, even if you see any other senior designers, everybody stands for one value or the other, and they are very, very loud about that. Go back and actually research about successful designers in the industry. And you will realize everybody has always spoken about that one value they always stick to. For example, for interior designer, it could be like not taking commission or giving an absolutely transparent breakup to the client or anything and everything. Okay, so what I need you to do as step 4 is create a vision. How do you create a vision? By answering these 4 things for yourself: purpose, vision, mission, and values. Step 5, finding leads. Now, following step 1, 2, 3, and 4, you will find finding leads very easy in future. How did I do it? There are two kinds of leads. One is vision and niche, and they come from that. And other is data driven leads. Unless I know my niche, unless I know what I'm looking at, I cannot find these leads. How do I find my leads? First of all, let me break this myth to you that if one client comes to you, that just means that one client has come to you. Even if you successfully finish their project, there is no lemon guarantee that they will actually refer you to other clients. They might not. But your studio, your growth, your design journey cannot be dependent on the client. It only and only can be dependent on you. Okay. When I say that, like I said, when we started Studio Azi, our first project was with Reliance. How did that happen? Because I did a lot of data research and realized Reliance has most of the retail brands under them in the country. So we started approaching anyone and everyone in the Reliance Industries for any kind of lead that is possible. We went on LinkedIn, we walked into malls, we went to operations, HR, PR, blah, blah, blah. We did our market research, selected our niche, uh, dive deep into the niche, and then found our perfect client fit. And since then, it's been 2 years, we've already clocked a crore in revenue, and that was only possible because we knew exactly what we wanted. How did we know? By following these 4, 5 steps. So, if you follow all the 5 steps that I have taught you today, you will be able to find your freelance leads, your freelance clients, or a good job. Okay. When I say data driven, data can also be picked up from other designers of your city. So, what you can also do is visit profiles of other designers in your city and just see what kind of clients are they getting, and then start targeting your clients accordingly. Okay. It comes out of your vision and niche. So that has to be the first thing that has to be very, very clear in your head as soon as you get out of college. To get that clarity, do the first 3 steps that we just spoke about. Okay. Now there are two kinds of leads. One kind of lead is lead who already has a requirement. They know what they want to build. They are planning to build, and you just happen to be in the way. Number two are the kind of leads that do not know that they have a requirement. So there was one project that we did for a client in retail space where he didn't know what he wanted. I had just visited the store, and the owner was right there. So I just spoke to him and I said, you know what? As a consumer, I just don't like this wall. I would like it to be something else. At that point in time, I did not tell him that I'm an interior designer or an architect. I just casually told him what I liked as a consumer. And then he was happy to hear the suggestions and all of that. And later, when we spoke again, he realized I'm an interior designer and actually hired me to redo that space in his store. So there are also lead generations where people do not know that they are a lead, or they also do not know that they want to do some work. But you sort of put the idea there, put the seed, and the seed will grow, and it is going to spring flowers onto you. If you see, for example, a lot of designers are doing Bharat flooring and all these brands, and it so happens that actually designers go to these brands with the ideas of collaboration, of building something, and that's how the process goes, and not the other way around. Okay. Now, journey from a lead to a client is a very long one where we sort of identify the potential client, we learn how to pitch effectively, and we also learn how to negotiate the deals with the clients. But I think this is stepping deep into the business. So I don't think we want to touch the details here. But what we can understand is design is not just a service anymore. Design has become a business. So you need to learn this step and the last step, six. There are five pillars that we any business uses, be it Apple, Google, anyone. And those five pillars are also used in design business now. Okay. Especially in our country where the competition is so much. Step one is how do you find your potential client or lead? You need to learn how to network. You need to learn how to collaborate effectively. You also need to learn how to study your competition in your city and how to run your social media game, which has become very, very important. Okay. So once you're clear in your head, where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years, where you are, how do you want to be, what do you want to do? This is where we land up. Then we use strategies of business to take the first leading step towards building a design identity. Okay. Five ways you can network these days is you can connect with people online and directly message them. You can also collaborate physically. Uh, you can invite people for social media events like I'm here today. You can visit events, and that is a must. Even as a student, start visiting these design events because they're going to give you like a broader perspective so as to what's happening and where would you see yourself 3 years down the line. Okay, so start visiting those events. There are also many ways to collaborate. For example, reaching out to vendors. You can, like I said, a lot of people generate their own leads or start their own collaborations by actually designing first and then reaching out to vendors later to see their design come to life. Okay. You can, of course, reach out to any of your seniors, any of the senior designers, or your friends for collaboration. Again, you meet a lot of designers in events. I have collaborated with many people I have met in the events in the past. Okay. Invest in creative work. Uh, Start investing at the right point. I'm not saying you have to invest right out of college, but once you've done a job, have some saving, it's good to invest in your own business and collaborate for online presence. So these were just like few tips and tricks that we use to run a design business. But how to actually start a business and how to get out of the chaos in your head uh, at the right time, you need to follow the 4 5 step vision board that we have just discussed. Here on, I will open the Q&A session. So if you all have any questions about any of the steps, feel free to ask me. I am not sure how this works. Are they supposed to raise their hands and type?
So, thank you for your presentation, Arushi. I request everyone who has a question to just put your question in the Q&A box that you see at the bottom of your screen so that we can answer your question systematically. But thank you for sharing all of your insights, Arushi. Um, I mean, before all of our attendees also start putting in the questions, I had one question. Um, so you do actually come from a background from architecture, right? When did that sort of pivot happen in your journey when you decided that, you know what, I don't want to pursue architecture as my core, but I want to sort of move into interior. So what was that shift like?
So that pivot actually happened after doing 3 architecture projects in Jaipur. So I built a school, I built a home, and then I was building Weston, and I realized it's taking too much time and patience for me. So I
That
went
usually
back.
that usually is the case for most people who sort of move from architecture to interior design. Yeah.
Although I love doing architecture, but it wasn't just the right fit for me.
Mhm.
And that's why we create this sort of vision board where we keep going back and forth and seeing, like, what is not fitting, just remove it.
Hmm. And what sort of shift in gaze did it require? Because architects is also uh, like a lot of it is also outside treatment. How does the building sit in like the fabric of the city and I would say the smaller sort of colony or an area. There's a lot of that also, and there's like much technical stuff. I also come from an architecture background, so I know what that actually is like. So, what was the shift in gaze moving from an architecture background to an interior background?
So, to be honest, if you are a practicing architect, you are also sort of a practicing interior designer, more or less. Of course, for bigger projects, like for a resort, you would hire an ex interior designer to be on board with you, but you are so and so part of the process while doing it. And that's when the shift happened because I saw what kind of drawings, what kind of details, what kind of design intent was going into what I was doing, whereas what was going into what the other person was doing who's working on the same project as me. And that's how my inclination sort of changed to a level where now I sometimes only do small design installations because it just makes me be able to play with a lot more in the
It is
time.
also deeply, deeply personal, I would say. You get to interact with the consumer so
Correct,
much more
correct,
and design for the consumer so much more.
correct. And you could also see it much more, right? Like an architecture project, by the time it actually comes up, turns up into a space where I could actually access it, um, I've probably moved my city or like
Hmm.
left the connect with it.
So we do have a question. Somebody is asking, do you have any specific or different advice for people who are doing this as a second career or are shifting their career?
Okay. If I'm not sure what the career you are talking here, but if you are into a management career, if you're only talking about numbers, I would first suggest just do a quick course, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year design course, because it'll sort of open your perspective to uh, much more of how what kind of mental ability and thinking you need to actually give the output that you want to your clients, and then dive into a design career. Don't just tell yourselves I know how to style so I can make homes. It's not that simple. So that's what I would say. If you're coming from a management career, if you're coming from a graphic design career, you can definitely try your hand finding one or two freelance clients. So I'm not sure what they want to ask if.
Right. So, I mean, if you want to sort of, the person who's asked the question, they've not mentioned their name. If you want to sort of specify what career shift you're talking about, are you coming from, as Arushi, from an architecture background and wanting to move into interiors, or are you wanting to move from an entirely different career to interiors? If you could just specify that, that would be great. Um, Other than that, I sort of wanted to know because this is something that I have seen like most of our interior design learners and people that I've interacted with um, have pointed out that and in the interior design realm or actually in the architecture realm it is also very common, which is people sort of want to take up freelance work or start their own practice very very quickly. So and the initial phase is a little tough. You're also figuring out what you know best and your aesthetic and your brand and what kind of projects, and as you mentioned that you want to sort of take on all projects that are coming your way. So like what is your advice to somebody who's starting their own journey as a solo or like as a freelance person in the realm of interior design?
Right out of college.
Yeah, right out of course.
Okay, so I know there's been like a massive shift from when people used to do 2 year of jobs like me, to now just doing a 6 months internship and getting out and taking your freelance projects. Uh, I genuinely feel what's most important, even if you're doing a 6 months internship, first of all, do it. What you need to learn is management more than learning design or drawings there. you know what, design or drawings is something you can open Google and find out how to make it, or like just take help from anyone. Management is something that you really need to learn as an interior designer, because running things on site, dealing with clients, going to vendors, selecting material, seeing what material works with what, managing all of that is what would take a toll on you for your first few projects.
Mhm. Right. So Shant is asking, how can I find my niche as I'm starting my interior design career I've done civil engineering in my graduation.
Okay, so if you've done your civil engineering in graduation, first of all, I'm not, because I'm not from a civil engineering background, I am not sure if that entails anything about design. If it does, great. If it does not, like I said, just do a 6 months short course on design. Okay, and that'll sort of open your mind. So, as to what do you like designing? Do you like smaller parts? Okay, do you like to design just a chair? Do you like to design just a notebook? Or do you actually like to design bigger spaces like walls, like ceilings? You will only realize what your calling is when you sort of learn it. So step one is doing that. If you already have a little bit of idea so as to what design you are into, how you find a niche is by step three of my presentation, which is answering the three questions that we discussed. One, what is the purpose? Why are you taking this shift from an engineer to design? So write your bigger picture. Second, you write what you hate. Okay, because sometimes it's easy to write what you love, what you hate, than writing what you love. So you write what you hate so you know what you will like to do. And number three is, of course, see your vision or your goal in your eye for just 2 minutes. That is another activity that we had discussed during the class. Just do all those three things. Give yourself like 2 hours of time just to process, and you will have your answers as to which field of design you want to go to. Don't just jump into any, and then, like, once you start failing in one, you wouldn't want to do any. So I rather have you do it properly.
Cool. Thank you for answering. Oh, we have another question. Okay. So Sudarshan is asking, during the presentation, you said invest in creative work.
Yeah.
So Sudarshan is asking, what is the meaning of investing in creative work? What do you mean by that?
Okay. So, for example, if I'm a designer, I'll just take a designer's name here so as to make it more crisp. If you all have heard of Karan Desai, he did these furniture pieces with different brands in ID. Now, that's the pivot of his career, right? How he did it was, first piece he paid for his home. So he actually paid for a bathtub made in marble, and that's what was his signature piece. So he saved some money, invested that money into showing what he could do to his clients, and then started getting more and more clients in process. So when I say investing, it just means like invest little bit to show your capabilities to your clients. Does that make sense?
I think it does, yeah. Um, okay. Somebody is asking, is it easy to get a job without having a degree?
It is, if you have enough vocational capability. So you need to learn Rhino, you need to learn AutoCAD, you need to learn SketchUp, you need to learn V-Ray, learn the softwares, and then it's actually easy to get a job.
Yeah. It is skill over degree nowadays anyway.
Yeah, it's more about learning vocationally than having a degree. But yeah,
Cool. I think if we have any more questions, let's just wait for 2 more minutes. Uh,
I think
um,
somebody had answered the initial career thing, the second career question. I think we missed it.
no, they're just saying that I did mean that the change is extreme from management to
Yeah,
design.
yeah.
So
So
yeah,
that we answered. That's
yeah.
fine.
If you have any more questions, just put them in the Q&A box and then Arushi will then answer them for you.
I guess that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Arushi, okay, meanwhile, I really treat these sessions as very self-indulgent and I really enjoy like being part of these sessions. So, I have this one question that I like to ask all of my speakers, which is, if you had to redesign something, say something as small as a safety pin or something as big as the Delhi Metro railway system, what would you redesign?
That's a lovely question. I think I would redesign our footpaths. I don't think they're meant for walking. I think
Mm.
they really need invention there.
Yeah, great. That's a great answer. Thank you, Arushi, for doing this with us. Thank you, everyone who stuck around till the end of this webinar. I know it's a little late, but thank you for taking out the time to just like be here and like soak in all the wisdom. I hope that we were able to help you in some way and like have fun while doing that. Um, so yeah, with that, I say goodbye and good night. Thanks, Arushi.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.